help us understand how we can turn lost visitors into engaged users mastering 404 pages.
Yeah, I think this is a really great tip of the week. We'll get into some of the creative side of this as well later on in this tip of the week. It'll be a relatively short one, pretty simple one. But first off, we wanted to just give an overview of what a 404 error is, what the 404 pages are. We've all probably come across these 404 pages on various websites online. And basically, we get presented with a 404 page when we're trying to visit a page on a website that doesn't exist. Maybe at one time it did, maybe it never did. But at the current time, when we're trying to open up that web page, it's no longer there. So it indicates that a requested page couldn't be found, and it's triggered either by broken links or mistyped URLs, as well as those potentially old links. So pages that may have been taken offline at some point in the past. So it communicates with users when they're trying to view content that's missing. It's no longer on the website. And the design of these 404 pages, as I mentioned, we've all probably come across them. They vary a bit. We'll get into some really great examples towards the end of this tip of the week. But generally speaking, they're very simple. They're kept very light, but the design can be customized to improve the user experience and try to keep those users on our web page and keep them clicking around and exploring instead of just leaving the website and potentially going somewhere else to try to find the information they're looking for. And real quick, also diving into 301 redirects. This is something we've mentioned in a lot of previous webinars, specifically when people are asking about migrating their site to Brilliant Directories. If you're migrating your website from one platform to another, you always want to keep in mind 301 redirects. And the reason for it is it prevents 404 errors from affecting users. So a 301 redirect basically allows you to direct one URL to another URL. So if a visitor comes to your website and they try to go to a specific URL that you no longer have, maybe you deleted the page, maybe you created a new page to replace it. But if they try to go to that old URL, your website will automatically redirect them to the new URL that you set. So that's what a 301 redirect is, and it helps prevent those 404 errors from occurring. This helps to maintain also search engine rankings by preserving link equity. This is why it's so important when you're migrating your website from one platform to another, or even just building a brand new website, maybe on the same platform. Again, if you have existing content on your website and that those pages are already being indexed by Google and other search engines, and they're being listed in search results, you want to maintain that. You don't want to lose your rankings in search engines. So you can set up a 301 redirect to make sure that that old page that was previously indexed and listed in Google, that you maintain that link equity. And when a visitor goes to that old link, they'll be redirected to the new relevant page that you've set up. So again, this is essential for site migrations or really any content updates if a URL for a web page is being changed. And this can really help to overall improve the user experience and overall site navigation when people are visiting your website. So it kind of goes hand in hand with 404 error pages, which is why we wanted to mention these briefly here.
Yeah, the way I see 301 redirects, it's like traffic control. You know, we had a blog article that was ranking really well, and it had a specific URL, but we learned that if we add the word best into the URL, so it was like best directory, blah, 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 in the URL, it would actually maybe help ranking down the line, but it's going to effectively change the old URL. So we created a 301 redirect from the old URL, and it points to the new updated URL for that blog article. And what that does is if I didn't do that 301 redirect, basically if people try to visit the old URL, they're going to hit a 404 page. But the good news is we're going to show you exactly how you can zhuzh up that 404 page in this tip of the week.
Yeah, and what you were mentioning actually kind of is a great segue into this slide here. Seeing 404 warnings in Google Search Console. Not everybody uses Google Search Console, but if you do, and you have some broken URLs on your website or pages that Google may have already indexed but no longer exist and haven't been redirected elsewhere, you may see these 404 warnings. So we just wanted to address this specific item here real quick, having to do with 404 pages. So when you see these warnings in Google Search Console, it's only informational. It's not a penalty. Google's not going to penalize your website for having these 404 warnings. It just lets you know that Google found a URL on your website, and that page can no longer be found. Google can't access it. So it's just letting you know that. And so it's indicating some potential issues with links on your website, but it does provide you with an opportunity to create those 301 redirects. So again, you don't use that link equity that you've already built up. Google already knows those old pages exist. Let them know that they're being redirected elsewhere by setting up those 301 redirects. So again, if you see these 404 warnings in Google Search Console, it's purely informational. They're not going to penalize your website.
Yeah, there's plenty of cases, just to quickly chime in here. You might have had a web page online for a contest or a promotion, and then you take it offline. You delete the web page. You don't need it anymore. So that page doesn't exist, and you just want to let it go to your 404 page. You don't necessarily need it to 301 redirect to another URL. You don't care to. You're happy with it going to your 404 page. So it's okay to see that warning in your Google Search Console. Again, they're more informational. They're not necessarily errors or penalties on your site.
That's right. And so now going into kind of the more creative side of this presentation, first, we just wanted to show you what the default 404 page on Brilliant Directories websites looks like. So when somebody is on your website and they try going to a URL that you don't actually have a page for, they're going to see this page. This is the default 404 error page. So it says 404. Most people are familiar with that code because most of us have come across these pages in the past. But below that, it says this page does not exist. And then there's a link so that the visitor can go back to the home page and continue clicking around. But as we mentioned, these pages can be customized. And so now is the exciting time where we'll dive into some of the design elements and thought that should go into customizing the 404 page if you choose to do so. And so firstly, we wanted to address why 404 pages are typically very minimal. Not in all cases, but in most cases. And the reason for that is to have really laser-focused design in order to reduce user frustration and confusion. Let them know the page they're looking for doesn't exist, and then provide them with one or maybe two links to keep them on the website and continue clicking around. That's really the only purpose of these 404 pages. We also want to minimize the content and the images that are displayed on these pages in order to ensure quick load times so that users aren't waiting for a page to load that doesn't really actually present them with the content they were hoping to find. Likewise, we also want to minimize the bandwidth usage of our website because these pages don't serve any real benefit to users since they're telling the user that the page they're trying to access doesn't exist. So we want to keep it simple, minimize our website's bandwidth usage that way. And then again, having that simple layout on the page really helps to direct users back to the primary content on the website or to some other content we might want to direct them to. So really minimizing the distractions and encouraging users to stay on our website is the overall goal with these 404 pages.
That's right. Just because someone landed on a page of your site that doesn't exist doesn't mean that they don't want something from your company or they don't want something from your website. They just had a bad URL and they were directed somewhere that doesn't currently exist. So being able to navigate them somewhere else is going to be one of the key things we talk about in these upcoming slides.
That's right. We really want to keep in mind that the goal here is to keep our users engaged instead of leaving our website because they came to our website for a reason. So presumably we've got some information that they want. So we still want them to stay on our website. And we want to transform that potentially negative experience into a positive one, providing them with clear navigation options. Again, keeping them on our website, keeping them clicking around, viewing other web pages on our site. And it also gives us actually an opportunity to showcase a little bit of our brand's personality. This will make more sense in the few examples that we have to show you in just a moment here, but you can get a little bit creative and a little bit fun with these pages as well, while maintaining that minimalism and encouraging users to explore other content on our website. So the first example we have here is actually from Red Bull, huge brand. So they maintain that 404 code at the top. Again, most people are familiar with what that means. and they kind of lean into it a bit. Well, this is embarrassing. Where did the page go? But right below that, to keep users on their website, they have an embedded video that you can watch directly on this page. And then below that, it's not quite as apparent, but they have a Gimme More button. So if a visitor clicks that, they'll be presented with additional content. Again, keeping the visitor on the website, even though the link that they tried going to doesn't exist.
And we'll notice something between some of these different 404 pages. Some of them include additional navigation links at the top. We even see a search here, a link to their homepage, and other things. Other 404 pages just show text and images, and they don't show any other navigation links.
That's right. And this one here, we still see the website's main menu up at the top. And this one, they're leaning a bit into pop culture here with a Matrix reference. Oops, looks like this page got lost in the Matrix. And then we're presented with the red and the blue pills, the red and the blue button, so that we can click Get Prepared, presumably linking us to items that they have listed in their online store. And then also a link just to go back to their homepage. And then also in the bottom left-hand corner, it's a little hidden, but they have a little pop-up that says, want our biggest discount? Yes, please. So they're also providing visitors with a discount here. Again, trying to keep them on the website, keep them clicking around. And in this case, the goal is to allow the user to actually make a purchase. And so they're sticking with that even on the 404 page when a visitor goes to a page that doesn't exist.
I like the attitude of this page because not necessarily the design and stuff, but they're assuming the close. They're assuming the sale of the customer. They're assuming that even though they're on the wrong page, they still want something from this company, as I mentioned before. And there's a lot you can do with membership and directory websites because you do offer a lot both to regular visitors and prospective members.
And the last one here, we've got a law firm website. Kind of a funny image here. Error 404, you've been served a bad link. Use the menu options above or search to find your destination. Personally, I think something else could have been used instead of an open search field, just because users might not necessarily know exactly what to search for to be presented with the content they want. However, they are telling visitors to look up above, click on the links in the main menu. So they're still showing the website's header on the 404 page. And one thing to point out is really the common thread between these three examples. They all kind of do something a little bit different, but the commonality is that they're all incredibly minimal. They let the user know that they've come to a link that doesn't exist, and then they do something to try to maintain the visitor's interest and allow them to continue their journey exploring the website. And so if you want to either customize the 404 page on your BD site or create a brand new page and set that as the default 404 error page, you can do so. It's really simple. There's just one advanced setting. So if you go into your advanced settings and if you just search for 404 in the search bar, you should see this advanced setting here, the default 404 error page, and you can select from a dropdown of which page you want to present visitors with when they try going to a URL on your site that doesn't exist.
Awesome. Is this a good time to kind of show the example we made and kind of how to edit this stuff on the BD sites?
This would be the perfect time to do that.
All right, let's dive into it here. So I'll start fresh from the dashboard. And if we go to settings, advanced settings, and just like David said, I'll just search for 404 in the keyword filter here. So by default, I'll just switch this back. By default, it always starts with the default 404 page. And I'll go ahead and save the changes. And what is a 404 page? How do you get to a 404 page? Well, I'll show you how. Let's just type in some gibberish up here and we'll hit enter. And we're taken to a page that doesn't exist. Now, this can happen from misspelling. Someone's linking to your site in a blog and they misspelled it or they didn't link to the correct page. So now the person's on the 404 page. So with this advanced setting that you have here, effectively what you can do is you can choose any of the web pages that exist. This is a list of pages that exist inside of your web page builder. So go to the web page builder here, and we have all these different pages created for this site, and we can choose any one of them to be the 404 page. As an example, let's just do the home page. So we'll save the home page, and I'll go ahead and refresh this page. And when you get to the 404 page, it brings you to the homepage. This is also a great strategy because hopefully your homepage has enough resources to kind of navigate people to or keep their interest on things they can do on your website. So if you want to do that, that's great. What we were talking about bandwidth usage is 404 pages are often frequented by bots that crawl your site, Google bot, this and that, and also regular visitors, probably a really high volume. So we want the 404 page to be as low in size as possible, images, JavaScripts, things like that. So the homepage is good. I wouldn't worry about it too much about the bandwidth stuff. It's just a consideration to keep in the back of your head. But this is the homepage option. And then you can choose from any of the other pages you want. What David and I did just before the webinar is we created a little fun 404 page. I'll just go ahead and edit this using the web page builder. I came here, I created a new page, and all I did is I put some title text here. Looks like the page you need is in here. Not to worry, you've got options. And then I just created a table with a big image on the right and some actions on the left using the pre-made elements here. So let's actually look at this page here. And yep, so this is the 404 page we created. And to prove it's the 404 page, well, let's actually save it here. Scroll down here. So that's the URL that I gave it. And we'll now just put some gibberish up here. And we can see here, it is the 404 page. It's bringing us here. So what we did is we said, visit the homepage. Again, you can get creative. There's a million and one things you can add to the page. You can link them to your contact us form. Maybe they're looking for your contact information. Join our site, and again, assuming you close, become a member or learn about our membership plans. And like the Red Bull one, like watching videos, I put a have fun, click here to read our blog link. So again, you can style this however you want. I think one thing that David was mentioning is simplicity is key. We may not want to overwhelm them too much because if they're already, we have to assume the psychology here. They're coming to a page where they thought they were going to maybe read a blog article or see a member listing, and now they're going to be confronted with this information that is very unexpected. So we want it to be, the reason it's friendly is by design. We don't want to scare them away, and we want to invite them to continue clicking into our site in some way, shape, or form. Now, just to even simplify this further, just to show you some of the page options with BD, if we go to edit this page, there are page options here. We could choose to hide the header and footer to make the page even lighter and put a stronger focus on the content from the text editor. Go ahead and refresh this. So here we can see that the header and footer menus are now gone. And then also, if you're a developer, what you could do is you could pop a widget in here and you could do like full custom code instead of just using the text editor with images and links and things like that. Anything else we should cover here, David?
I think really the only thing is, like with any web page, you can add any content you want on here, forms, widgets, whatever it might be. But I think you made a great point in that we do want to keep it simple, because if we put ourselves in the shoes of our visitors who are coming to the 404 page, they were expecting to land on a specific page, and that page doesn't exist. So maybe in all cases, it might not be best to redirect them to the homepage. That might be a little bit confusing. Having some 404 page is generally pretty beneficial, because you're at least being transparent, letting the visitor know, hey, that content isn't available, but here's some other information that that might be useful, or other content you might find interesting. So I think that's a key here, is trying to put yourself in the shoes of your visitor and what they would expect or what they would want or find useful if they came to your 404 page. And also, don't be afraid to have a little fun with it, be a little cheeky. We see a lot of huge brands doing that now.
Yeah, crying kittens are always fun to put on there, the animated GIFs. Those are always good. So David, thank you for that tip of the week.